Hey everybody, I wanted to talk about adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing with imaginary numbers. And I wanted to do this not too quick, but fairly quickly. I want to try to go through all the examples in this one video. So for instance, if I wanted to do, let's say 2i, okay, ignore that, 2i plus 3i. I would add this the same way I would add like 2x plus 3x. So 2i plus 3i would just be 5i, meaning all I'm doing is adding the coefficients. So I'm just adding the 2 and the 3 and keeping the I. Now notice, I can only do this if they both have an I. So for instance, if I had 2 plus, 3i, I can't add those. There's nothing I can do here, and then actually we would just leave it like that. So we can't add them unless they both have an I. And the same thing is true with subtracting. So if I had 3i minus I, and remember, just an I would be the same thing as like a 1i. So 3 minus 1 is 2. So this will just be 2i. So 3i minus 1i is 2i. And again, I cannot subtract unless they both have an I. It's like, adding like terms. It's like if they were radicals. So remember, you can't add or subtract radicals unless the number underneath the square root is the same. It's kind of that same principle. Okay. So I want to move on to multiplying. And this is where some people will get a little confused. But what if I did 2i times 3i? Now the way I'm going to do this is I'm just going to multiply the numbers together. So 2 times 3, which is 6. And then I'm going to think about what is I, and sorry, my thing is glitching here, so I'm trying to do this as best I can. Not sure why it's doing that, but I have I times I. Well, what's I times I? Well, think of it, what's x times x? So if I said x times x, what would you say that is? Well, hopefully you know that that's x squared. Sorry, again, it's glitching. I'm not sure why it's doing that. So I times I is I squared. Now, if you remember from the last video, if you watched it, I squared is the same thing as -1. So really, 6i squared is just 6 times -1, which of course is -6. Now, I wanted to make sure everyone understands this. I squared is something, it'd probably be good for you just to memorize. Hopefully you understand it, but if you can just remember that I squared is -1, that's really going to help you out. Okay, you need to make sure you know that. If you don't know that, you need to make sure you get that in your memory. Okay, so that's multiplying. Again, all I do is multiply the numbers in front and then the i's. But let's do an example where maybe they both don't have an I. So if I said 6i times 3. Now, if they don't both have an I, we can't add them or subtract them. But if we're multiplying, we can still do that. We just do 6 times 3, which is 18. And then attach that I. Kind of like if I said 6x. So if I said 6x times 3, again, my thing is glitching, that's just 18x. Same principle, same concept. All right, so let's look at division. And division is just like regular division. So again, if I said 18i divided by 3, I just do 18 divided by 3, which is 6. And again, just attach that I to it. If they both had an I, so if I had 18i divided by 3i, the i's would just cancel, and we'd be left with just 6. All right, well, hopefully this helps. I know I moved somewhat quickly. If you have any other questions, please let me know.